the saga. We continued the saga of Darren, who has been cheating on his wife with five high school girls as well as side chicks. So the 69-year-old man, whose name is Darren, married a 35-year-old woman who is very, very wealthy. And he borrows the wife's Mercedes to hang out in hotel rooms. And he claims he's going to different conferences and there's always meetings and he never comes home on time. And he continues to cheat. So eventually, when the wife confronted him, he beat her into a coma. So what happened after that was that the high school girls that he went out with on one particular occasion turned around and beat him up. They smashed bottles on his head and he ended up with stitches at the hospital. Well, the continuation of the saga is this. Darren decides to, after several months, he was home for a while. He tried to play the good husband. His wife totally accepted him, and she was even more apologetic than he is about the saga, about being beaten up by girls, even though she had not planned it. So what she continued to do was to be a very good wife, a very obedient wife. She still had not maintained her identity. She continued to be Darren's wife. And she totally decided that Darren's wife was going to be her name because to her, it gave her prestige. Being a married woman was all she wanted. And despite that, she had a very thriving entrepreneurial business and she was doing very well. But she chose to be called just simply Darren's wife. So the continuation of the story is this. Darren went ahead and said he was going out of town for another meeting. This time he took 2 weeks and he disappeared. While he disappeared for the 2 weeks, he made no phone calls. He didn't contact his wife. He did not ask how the kids were doing. He just disappeared. And unfortunately for him, a friend of Darren's wife found out. And she found out that they were hanging out. Darren was hanging out with, this time, 2 side chicks and at a very fancy 5-star hotel, which was very far away from where he used to live. So he flew. Darren flew. Okay, he flew from one city in Lagos where he was stationed, or rather where they lived, and traveled all the way to New York City with 2 side chicks. So while he was in New York, a good friend of Darren's wife ran into him and found out what was happening. She took nice photographs. She took the pictures and simply, using WhatsApp, sent it to Darren's wife. Well, when Darren's wife heard about it, guess what happened? She fainted. The continuation of why she fainted, of course, she was shocked. Continuation of this saga, Darren's wife, and the continuation of the story of Darren's profession, Darren's leisure time with side chicks, and also Darren's hangout with high school girls will continue next. So we encourage you to stay tuned to this very fantastic story. At some point in the story, Darren's wife will come on to this camera and tell us how she's coping with life, why she feels that she cannot walk away from the marriage. So what do you think? Do you think Darren's wife should end the marriage? Do you think she should stay very quiet, obedient, subservient, and very, very polite wife? Or do you think she should confront him again? So far, the saga has not been very, very good. There has been a bit of domestic violence, a bit of fighting, a bit of going to hospital, and a bit of this and that. Your guess is as good as mine. So join us next time for the continuation of 69-year-old Darren, who's cheating on his 35-year-old wife. Meanwhile, he's squandering his wife's money because she's an entrepreneurial diva. And this story just gets better and better. So join us next time on Staying Stainless with Linda for more about Darren and Darren's wife. And the cheating saga continues. And we thank you for watching.